Hey, this is Ish, and today I want to talk to you about a powerful law of attraction technique known as segment intending. And by the way, if you want to learn a little bit more about the law of attraction, I recently came out with a book called Understanding the Law of Attraction, which is now on Audible. So, this segment intending concept was originally created by Esther and Jerry Hicks. And basically, what this whole concept is about is you want to think of your day as broken up into little parts known as segments. So, an example of a segment would be you waking up and setting your alarm off, or you going for a shower, or you driving to work, that's another segment, or you eating lunch, and that's another segment. So we have these little tiny segments that make up our day. And with this practice of segment intending, what you're going to do is you're going to visualize an ideal segment that's going to be upcoming, and you're going to really put yourself in the first person perspective and actually visualize a good version of that upcoming segment. So an example of this would be, let's say you start work at 9 a.m. and at 8:55 a.m. while you're still in your car about to leave the parking lot to actually go inside your workplace, instead of rather than just walking outside and going straight to work, you're going to sit in your car and visualize an ideal scene of you entering the workplace, which is considered a segment. So for example, you can visualize yourself in first person, and that's very important here. You want to visualize this in first person rather than third person, which is looking outside yourself, so through your own eyes. And you're going to visualize walking in, and maybe a receptionist there, if you have one, gives you a really big smile. Your coworkers give you a lot of high fives as you walk in. Your boss pats you on the shoulder and says, "Wow, nice work, you did amazing this week." So that's an example of a really short segment that you can visualize in your mind before you actually go and carry out that segment. And the art of segment intending can be applied for obviously different segments throughout your day, but it works due to a couple of different reasons. So the first is that you're training your brain to actually look for the positive things in your life. So we have a mechanism in our brain called a reticular activating system, which specifically pays attention and puts focus on different inputs. Because if you think about it, in our daily life, there's so many things going on around us, and we don't have time to focus on a few things. So our brain just naturally focuses on threats or things that will catch our attention. And what we're doing is we're training our RAS to look for positive things in your life. And if you know anything about the law of attraction so far, is that like energy attracts like energy. So if you're looking for the positive things in your environment, there's a better chance of that good things actually are happening to you. Because I'm sure you have an aunt or uncle that's always like crabby and is always focusing on the negative things. And as a result, they have negative life events to complain about. So it's kind of like a perpetuating loop. So what we're doing in segment intending is that since we're visualizing a positive state, things that are going well, it increases the odds of that actually happening to you. And then the second benefit of segment intending is that you're naturally improving your mood, and you're presenting yourself in a more positive light, and that actually changes the environment so other people are responding to you more positively. And I think subconsciously when you start to segment intend and really get into it, you'll just naturally take on different behaviors. So in the previous example, when you're visualizing a positive headspace when you're just walking in and people giving you high fives and all that, that really improves your mood. So by the time you actually do walk into that office 5 minutes later, your shoulders are naturally just more upright. You're more in a positive mood because you've expected those good things to happen. And as a result, you'll naturally have people give you high fives or talk to you more just because you're presenting that energy outwards. So it actually makes a lot of sense. And then the last point here is that since you are visualizing the scene in first person, like I mentioned, it's very important that you see this scene through your own eyes rather than kind of like watching it as if you're watching yourself in a dream or watching yourself like in a TV. You're seeing yourself, this scene through your eyes. This is really important because your nervous system actually normalizes the scene. So if you can get used to visualizing different things in your life, favorable situations, through your own eyes, your brain actually doesn't know the difference between your imagination and reality. So if you imagine a very cool scene that's really awesome, your brain will actually think that's normal for you. And the more you do it, it just becomes normal. And that's actually the point you want to get to when your dreams and ideal visualizations just feel like an everyday thing, because success attracts success. So if you can visualize an important scene as if it's just like nothing. It's like just a walk in the park. It actually brings that reality closer to you without much effort because your brain has just normalized it. So you become that type of person where a lot of cool things just happen to you naturally. And that's something you'll notice through experimentation. So don't just take my word for it, but actually just try out these techniques of segment attending. Of just before you go to different segments in your day, like if you have an interview, you can visualize a perfect scenario where you just ace the interview and the interviewer is just like so happy that you're there. Or if you have an upcoming date, for example, you can visualize a good scene where the other person is really impressed with you. Whatever the case is, you can visualize in a positive scene of that reality, and it makes it more likely for that to happen in your life because you've changed your environment in a sense, because you've changed yourself. And you can experiment with this, and you can choose to either segment attend on smaller chunks, so like kind of like the day-to-day, like smaller activities like walking to work, coming back, like that's one segment. Or you can just do a larger segment, which is your whole morning, your whole afternoon, and whole evening. It's really up to you, but for the most part, you want to keep a very light touch to this and actually don't take it like very seriously and be like all like high strung about it if you don't, that you're actually like accomplishing everything. Like you just want to keep a more natural and ease and kind of like a playful mindset when you're doing this. As with all law of attraction techniques, you want to have a light touch to it, and because you're not needy for the outcome, this actually speeds up the process of the manifestation. So I hope you like this. Thank you.